Hello everyone, welcome to my channel. If you're new, you're welcome. My name is Sanisa Fon, and if you haven't subscribed, kindly subscribe, hit the notification bell to get notified each and every time I upload new tutorials on my channel. If you're a member, you're welcome back. Thank you for coming back to my channel. Today I'm going to show you on how to make this bustier top pattern. So if you want to know how I do this, keep on watching. First thing I'm going to start by is by drawing a straight line, which is going to be my soldier line as well my guideline. After drawing the straight line, the next thing I will do is to take my soldier measurement divided by 2. Mine is 14. 14 divided by 2 will give me 7 inch. Then I will mark it up. Once I'm done marking the 7 inch up, I'll slant it down by 1 inch because a soldier is not straight. The next thing I'm going to do after marking this, I will go ahead to mark from my soldier to my bust point, which is 10 inch. From my soldier to my under bust, which is 14 inch. From my soldier to the half length, I normally go with 16 inch, but I'll go ahead to add 1.5 inch to it. Altogether is 17.5 inch. Okay. After that, I'll go ahead to connect it with the straight lines. Once I'm done connecting with the straight line, I'll come here. That's from the soldier slant. I'm going to measure downward. That's my armhole deep, which is 7.5. I'll mark it up, then I connect it again with a straight line. The 7 inch I use from here to here, I'm going to measure it here. I will mark it up, measure the 7 inch and mark it up. Then I'll go ahead to connect these 2 points together. Now I will go ahead now to mark the neck deep and the neck width of 3 by 3 inch, depending on the project you are working on. It can always change. After marking it, I'll just connect it, and then I connect to my soldier slant as well. Once I'm done connecting my soldier slant, I'll just come here and put 1/4 of my bust measurement, which mine is 34. 34 divided by 4 will give me 8.5. I will mark it up, then I will extend that line here. After doing so, I'll measure whatever I have from here to here to divide that by 2, which mine is 7.5 divided by 2 will give me 3.75. I'll go in by 3/4 in closely to 1 inch, but not 1 inch. Then I'm going to connect from here to here. Once I'm done connecting it, the next thing I will do now is to extend this line. Then I'll just go ahead to write the chest line, that's the bust point line, the under bust, and the length of the top I'm working on. Now the next I'm going to do is to take the nipple to nipple measurement. Mine is 7 inch. 7 divided by 2 will give me 3.5, but I'm going to be adding ½ inch to it because we need to join the dark together. Then I will mark the 4 inch. After marking it, I'll go ahead to connect it with a straight line. Once I'm done connecting with a straight line, I will be explaining to you on how to go about getting the exact measurement of the dark that you need to add here at the center and towards the side. All right, so this is going to work for plus size, for bigger chest or plus size. Okay, so if around my bust is 34, I will divide that's to minus the under bust from what I have. So my under bust is 30 minus 34 from 30. I'll be left with 4 inch. Then now I will go ahead to divide this 4 inch by 2. But first of all, let me go ahead to write the bust and the under bust so you will not get confused here. Okay, so now the 4 inch that we have before, I will take this 4 inch and I will divide it again by 2 equals to 2. This 2 again, I will take this 2 inch and I'm going to divide it again by 2 equals to 1. Meaning that if you're a plus size, there are 2 first of all, 1 inch is going to go to the side. This 1 inch here will go in here, inside. While the 2 inch will go outside, okay, like this, as you can see what I'm demonstrating. But me, I'm not going to be using this because me, I'm size 34. I'm somebody with a smaller chest, all right? So for smaller chest, for size 34, I'll go in, I'll mark 1.5 here, and then at the center, I'm going to mark half in. That's go in by ½ inch. This is going to work for smaller sizes, okay? So 1.5 and ½ inch at the center. After doing so, I'll just go ahead to connect it, and I'm going to do the same thing here. So once I'm done doing so, I will come here at my bust point line. I'm going to go down by 1 inch. But if you're somebody with a fuller chest or precise, go down by 1.5 inch or even 2 inch. Then now I will come here at this top part. Because I really want mine to cover everything, I will extend 1 inch upward. But if you don't want to extend it, it is optional. Okay, I'll just go ahead to connect the line straight. Then I'll measure 1 inch upward like this and mark it up. Once I'm done marking that 1 inch, I'll just go ahead to connect it straight. Now what I'm going to do is I'll come here, this side going towards the armpit. I'm going to go out by 3/4 inch, and here I'll go in by 1 inch. Once I'm done doing so, I'll go ahead now to connect this point from here to here like this, like so, and like this to the top part and here. So I'm still explaining the same thing. That's 3/4 inch and 1 inch. Okay, so you will not make any mistake when you are actually working on. Follow up whatever I'm doing here, so your top is going to come out good. Once I'm done doing so, the next thing I'm going to do now is I'll come here. I'm going to decide on how deep I want it to be. So I just want it to be on the chest line. If you want, you can go down as much deeper as you want, okay? But me, I want it to be right on top of the chest line. I'll go ahead to connect it like this, you can see. Then I will go ahead now to connect the other side as well. Like so. Then I'll just blend this up. After doing so, the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to be putting in my measurements. So around my waist is 28. 28 divided by 4 will give me 7 inch. I will mark it up. Then I'm going to replace whatever I borrowed from this tag here. That's 1.5 and 1.5. I'll replace it back. Then I'll go ahead now to add my 3/4 inch of allowance, okay? Then I'll do the same thing here at the under bust line. That's take round my under bust, which is 30. 30 divided by 4 will give me 7.5. I'll mark it up. I'll go ahead to replace back the dark allowance. I'll do the same thing here. That's 1/4 of my bust, which we already did before, which was 8.5. Then I'll be adding the dark allowance that I took out. Once I'm done marking it up, I'll just go ahead to connect that up. I went back to blend it. Now what I'm going to do is just go ahead to cut up the basic pattern first. Then I'll go ahead now to draft the back. We're going to be following each and every step except of the dark of the back that is different. Then here I'm going to be leaving 1 inch for my zipper allowance. Right, then the rest of the stuff is same except of the shape of the design of the back, which is going to change, right? So I'm actually drafting the basic pattern. Once we're done doing all those things we did before, the next thing we're going to do is to go ahead to mark the neck dip for the back is 3, that's 1 inch by 3 inch. All right, then I'm connect the soldier slant and connect the neck width and the neck dip like this. Then I'll go ahead to measure whatever I have from there and divide it by 2 like we did for the front. Remember, for the front we did go in by 3/4 inch, but for the back we're not going to be going in, but instead we'll connect it from the outside like this. Now we will come here, we'll go ahead and create our dark. So go in with the dark of 1/2 inch and 1/2 inch. Connect this all the way to the chest line because it's different. All right, you need it for it to be really fitting, even though we're not going to be using the dark. All right, so what I'm going to do now is to go ahead, I'll be adding 1/4 of my waist measurement like I did for the front, 1/4 of my under bust, 1/4 of my bust like I did the same thing, then connect that. So once I'm done connecting it, here I'll go down here by 1/2 inch. Then I'll kind of connect it from that you come here and just measure 2 inch. Okay, this is a design for the back that I want, but if you don't want it, you leave it yours like that. Okay, so it's like a kind of a tube strapless top. You could go ahead and use the yoke if you want to. Then here for the zipper, for it not to be like kind of puffing behind or those strange things you normally leave, you go in, that's from the under bust, you go up by 1 inch, then you measure 1/2 inch outside. Just follow up what I'm doing. Then I'm going to connect it like this and like so. Like this. Then now, if you want to use the yoke, you simply go ahead to follow up how I'm going to be cutting it. This is where I'm going to be cutting, okay? And the same thing here, this place I'm marking. Go ahead to cut. We have the yoke if you want to use it. If not, it's okay. You keep it for another thing. Alright, so you can see I have the yoke here for the front and for the back. So this is all about this tutorial. I hope you love it, but don't forget to add an 1/2 inch of allowance, okay? At this part, if in case you want to use the yoke, you have to add 1/2 inch of allowance. If not,